All right. Welcome to the Jeff Show, I guess. Florida Toy Shows, Florida Toy Shows news, Tuesday, March 3rd. We are back, 7:30. Man, I just feel like I just did this. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, the weeks do go by, and then I'm going, man. I don't know if I'm prepared to do a show here, and I would really like to get to do more events or more videos. But I'm not able to do it. It's I'm trying to stick with just doing the one for sure every week right now, and hopefully I can get to a point where we can do more than that. I'm just going to write a little note here, and then we'll get moving. I appreciate everybody being here on being here live. If you're here and got any comments, go ahead and post those, and I'll share those with everybody. And then I'll get moving here, kind of with my notes I got. All right. Hey, thanks for coming out, Mark. We like having you. Hopefully you did well there. This past got rid of some stuff this past Sunday. You said that was your that was kind of a record card sales. You've been bringing some sports cards, which people are asking about. I've been wanting to add sports cards, more sports cards, because we do get that an ask every show, but just I don't know those vendors. So basically Mark has been handling bringing sports cards, and I think he's doing pretty well. He probably doesn't want me to tell people that though. anyway, and then Mike Customs and Margaret hopefully did well there this Sunday, and then the other Mike Custom Game Collectibles, he's been coming to more shows recently, and so we'll be looking forward to him next in, I think, Tampa or Altamont. I don't have that map up. And Andy, I appreciate you coming out. I've got to check on your check on the Altamont approval and stuff. Andy is our candy, and he'll be in Tampa. Great regular vendor kind of now, and the bourbon cherries, Lisa says, even though she's kind of quit eating sugar now, but anyway, and then Trent and Inga, they're becoming regulars here. You're trying to become regulars, huh?
I'll make an exception.
Make an exception for the bourbon cherries. Okay. All right. Awesome. Yeah. Don't tell anyone. All right. I won't say anything else. Okay. On the cards. Okay. Cool. And Jason from Toy Warp. I think I owe you $20 or something for that Alpine thing, which I don't have in here. I got a picture from him on another. If you guys have seen a video of my room, I've got one of the first things I bought actually from Mike Customs and Margaret was an Alpine, like an 80s Alpine Countach poster with their radio, and Jason had a different one, so that was cool. All right, no big deal, man. We'll hook up soon. All right. So Bradenton, we were at Bradenton this past weekend. This was another test of our outstanding staff. Okay. The outstanding staff that I have been able to put together. Okay. Or add to the thing. Now, I could have, I just want to be, I could have probably, I could still run things like I did at the beginning of when we started. And, it would just be me. I would be setting up, I would be moving the tables around and then my wife runs the front and then my kids help out, we're still doing that. Okay. But I need to prepare for when I'm not available, which I mean, I've been lucky in that I haven't gotten had any illness or anything like that, but I want to prepare for the one. I've been wanting to prepare for if I wasn't able to be there and the show it needs to go on, and then also I want to make the shows run smoother, and that is in all aspects. So I've been trying to take advantage that, and I want to work on myself. I want to work on vendor connections, finding more locations to do shows, and more marketing stuff. I have been looking for some help for marketing. I'm not really that thrilled with my current result in working on that, so I'm going to work on it more myself. But and I'll talk more about that later. This is going to be probably a little bit of a longer video because I've got a whole list of stuff, okay, that I want to share with you. But anyway, and so what I've done is we've had Sean. Sean's been working with me for a couple of years now. He knows the ropes. He's basically right now he's kind of the number one. He's setup guy, takes down, and he's able to make sure everything was running smooth on Saturday night before the show, and then I was flying from Vegas. Me and my wife, we didn't get into the hotel till 1 o'clock in the morning. So, well, 2 o'clock. Okay, we got to the hotel at basically just before 2 o'clock because I remember it being 2 o'clock in the room. The rooms at this location at this show space are amazing. I mean, I don't think I've said this in a while. Like usually every once in a while, a place will surprise me. Let me go ahead and put that back up here. The location, the hotel and stuff, every once in a while, I'll go to a location and I'm like, man, this is might be a little bit much for us. And that's kind of, I felt like this hotel, do we really belong here? But it was, the hotel rooms weren't cheap and all that. But anyway, so we have Sean and then we have TK, and we've been working with TK for at least 5 years now. But I'm at the point now where we're really dialing in the organizing of the show. I did find out that I forgot a couple of vendors and stuff, but because again, our experience in the space that I leave and everything, we were able to fix it and everybody was happy and all of that. So we're running pretty smooth, guys. And because we have the staff that we have, we're able to do the shows. And I want to give vendors all the credit for them signing up. But those guys wouldn't sign up if the shows didn't run smoothly and people didn't make sales and all of that stuff. So, I want to thank TK and Sean, especially, for being able to be there and make it so we can run really a show whenever we want, kind of a thing. So TK will be at a lot of the shows the rest of the year. He's not going to be at this week's weekend show. But, I just want to put out there that, we ran a really great show. I don't remember what time this was, but I was able to come in at, just before opening, which has been my dream, is to come in, is to be able to have the show set up, have some help enough to where, you're not getting the Jeff that is frustrated because I haven't had any coffee and people are already loading in and I don't even have names on the tables yet. So because I wasn't able to get in there the night before. So this help has been a lot of work, or a lot of great help. So okay. So again, forget about Kim, Josh, Spencer. Yeah. I said that. Just let me do my thing. All right. Yeah. The what do they call that? The audience can be quiet. Anyway. All right. So again, I'm gonna come back to the comments here in just a moment, guys. But I wanted to, we were slightly down in attendance this weekend, but it was still really good. Okay, the weather was outstanding. Okay, 2 years ago I ran Super RetroCon on the third week of March, and that was an actual nightmare because the weather was so nice. It was a beach day. And so, you had Scared Ice up the road, you had the race up the road, you had another Comic-Con up the road, you had like a lot of stuff going on, and yet we still had really good attendance. Okay, we were very slightly down from September of last year. Okay, and I think the farmers market really helps out, but I also want to, it's not necessarily the hardcore people that come to our shows either. So but I do think it helps. And then I am planning, just this last thing on Bradenton, I am planning to try to reach out to them and try to do a September event in Bradenton again, basically when we did it. So that way we got, again, a, kind of a spring fall. Now, if you guys are wondering what happened to Sarasota, the Sarasota building was, the management changed. They changed the pricing around, but the main thing is not that. The main thing is that they're going to be closed for a year. I could not get, I could only get Friday and Saturday to be there. And then I had realized that Sunday I had told Bradenton I would be there. So anyway, and then Sarasota wasn't available for Sunday. And then they're going to be closing that building in the next couple of weeks for over a year. So they're renovating and itself. So we'll get back to Sarasota and the Hall of Justice as soon as they open. Okay, is my plan. And then, I do want to, August Kane isn't on here, but I do want to, he is? Okay, because he said he was doing something else. I want to thank him for the Mario popcorn bucket. I don't know if you guys have been to Epic Universe, but this is one of the popcorn buckets they have. Let me turn it around so you can see Mario. Okay. All right. And now I got a star, but I don't have this, so that's cool. All right. And August got that for me. Just gave it to me. I appreciate that. And I do appreciate Jason give me that Alpine thing. Okay. All right. Let me go over some of these comments here. And again, check out Toy Warp Vintage Reviews. He does come to our shows and do some pictures. He also has a really cool car show. So check that out. And then hey, thanks August. I need to get, that is one thing I really got to do, is I got to up the flyer game too. I think, again, adding Sean, having Sean's help and having TK's help and stuff. And then me knowing when the shows are, I can send those out. I can because I change those flyers like almost every week. And maybe you're tagging somebody in here, Kenny. Kenny will be at our Tampa show. I'm gonna talk about the Tampa show here in a little bit. Before the end, I'm going to talk about some additions to the Tampa show. And then, hey man, yeah, I will do that. I'm going to get you some flyers. I'm going to get, I need to get some addresses from some people, and I'll get some people. Yeah, Peanut Gallery. That's what it was, Mike. The Peanut Gallery. All right. Okay. Let me go ahead and move on to our next thing. Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit about my Vegas trip. I'm going to a little bit about my Vegas trip, share that with you guys. And before I do that, I'm going to talk a little bit. I'm just going to say that Kaz will be at this Sunday's show taking submissions. Okay, they're going to be at 3 shows. They're planning on being, as of right now, I know I've been getting a lot of that. Where they're going to be at the show this Sunday, and then they're going to be at Tampa, and then after that they'll be at the let's see, at the St. Augustine show. Okay, let me go ahead and bring up the schedule here just before I get too far. I will come back to this, but I just want to show you guys some updates. Okay. All right. So of course we got the South Florida Collectorfest this weekend. It's basically sold out. Again, Kaz is going to be there. Altamont is sold out right now. I've got some. I got maybe one space that may open up just because it's going to be an odd space. I got to go over there and check the building. Tampa Collectorfest in April. I've got aisle tables left. That's it. I'm out of walls, basically, unless you want something toward the back. And then I've got plenty of space in at the World Golf Village. I'm thinking about maybe putting this down to one day. I just, I don't know yet. I don't want to do that, but we're just doing these so well with these 1 days. And then the other thing too is that these hotel rooms are, I'm getting feedback from vendors, and like the hotel rooms this last weekend in Bradenton were like, well, at the location were $300, and then down even the rooms down where we're at. But it is high season in Florida, and we live in Florida, so it's kind of what it is. And according to my friends, we've had like crappy winter up north. So let me talk a little bit about our my show, or our trip out to Vegas. Not going to spend crazy long on that, but I just want to share some of that with you. And because I want to talk about the Redline show. Now you'll see, I'm going to go ahead and remove this right now. You'll see that I've got this Redline jackpot hat. And actually this shirt, I got a shirt. You'll see the cards up here. And so they, Mike, what I will say on the hotels is a lot of times I try to get a rate, and then when I get a rate, then nobody uses it because they've got like, rewards, Marriott, Hilton rewards or whatever. So people don't use it. So I haven't been doing it as much, but I'm going to look into it more. I'm looking into Tampa right now. I need to get a link from the World Golf Village here. But let me go ahead and really quickly or semi quickly talk about our Vegas trip. Now, we went out there. Part of it was like my anniversary with Lisa and stuff. But the other thing, we had wanted to go out there. One of our vendors sells these Redline cars, and we had went also. You guys probably know that I'm a big big neon fan. And so we went to the Neon Museum. To me, if you go to Vegas, you've got it. This is a must-see thing. It's all these really cool old signs. And I took a bunch of pictures and video for my friend who makes the neon signs, because I think there's some cool ideas here. Okay. And so some of these are, okay, so now going to the Redline jackpot. This is a Sizzler track. Okay, this is something that I've been wanting to set up at a show. They built it to run. I'm not showing it run. I do have a video. I might try to do that. And then this is an actual racetrack. You see Sean standing there, and I mean, look how long that thing is. They were doing actual pink slip racing where they would rip it from the actual bubble. I mean, these cars are not cheap, guys. The Redlines, this is a niche market. I'm going to guess there was maybe 100 people, 150 people somewhere in there at this show. And what they did is, they had like room sales, and then this room was set up to where they were doing racing, and then they had all these tables out here. But what it was is when you bought a ticket, you just had a space you could just bring whatever. And so it wasn't really a show. You could set up like in a spot. And here what ended up happening is there was a guy that had all of these sets. This is showing the sales area, but if you'll notice, you don't really notice it in these pictures, but anything past like the initial stuff was all kind of empty, because you were just able to bring your sales, your stuff and bring it in. It wasn't really organized show. It was kind of like a come and go type thing when you wanted. There was a guy that had designed Hot Wheels in the 60s. I asked him if he could come to Florida. he said he's not flying anymore because he was like 85 and stuff. But this was cool. This was these protector things that were pretty neat to hold the cars. I ended up getting one of these hauler things for my purple my Aerolift there, and then I was just showing off because we know a guy that wants to make this. We stayed down by the Fremont, which I had never stayed downtown. This was some toys that I saw at Toy Shack. This Jetfire was $975. Wow. And then I looked at some other stuff, here. Let me this is actually those Sizzlers running. They're an old school car where there's a little battery in there, and they had like a little gas pump that kids could just put the little thing in there, and it would charge the battery enough to race. And so they were racing those. I don't know. I think this is. And then they had all these sets. Now we ended up buying a few of these Big O track because I want to set up the Sizzler track. And then we also bought this California 8 race set over there to the next. That's the stuff on the right-hand side of the picture. But I mean, this guy had gotten some storage unit or bought some collection or something in California. And anyway, we ended up shipping that back. I don't have that stuff yet, but I just thought I would share that. The other thing too is they had a live auction. This was something that I thought was very interesting. Now, this guy that is showing the cars, he sells on Whatnot, which, I'm not a big Whatnot guy. I'm not even a big online selling guy. I understand vendors need to make money, and if it's a full-time business and all that, they're going to do online. But me as a buyer, I don't want to buy stuff online, especially these cars. Like the car that he's selling there probably went for like $2,000. So or $1,500, that's a bus. So, I don't want to just buy something like that on the internet, man. I'm going to be honest with you. So, now these guys that he did have online buyers, but this was basically this group is a group of people that they're focused on Redline Hot Wheels. That's 68 to 75. And these cars that they were auctioning live there in front of the group of people that came to it were kind of the creme de la creme. They were the high end. They were the very, sought after stuff, not just to make some money. And give you a little bit of pictures here. This Mustang, there wasn't anything there that really went for under, I would say, $1,000. So it's a small group though, guys. But here's what I ended up kind of learning from this. And let me come back to the video. What I ended up learning from this is, it's something that since I would like to, I've probably for several years, I have wanted to have some kind of auction at Tampa Toy Con. And so what we're going to do, I'm going to still try to put this together where it's more like, it's going to be invite only. It's going to be where vendors invite their customers to this invite only. That's going to be like a Grail private auction thing where you got your Grails, and you're gonna the idea that I have is that vendors will invite their regulars to this private show. Maybe we can be able to do it. I'd like to do it like where Saturday night or something like that. Anyway, this just ideas. So those are the things, when I go to these shows, I'm my wife and my friend or I don't want to put my wife down, but just, I don't want to reel her in because maybe she doesn't agree with that. I have friends that tell me, Jeff, whenever you talk about the show, you're talking about, how it was set up and how they could have done this better and could have done that better and all that. And you don't really talk about the stuff. Well, you're right, because when I walk into a show, I'm thinking, wow, this aisle isn't wide, or this whatever, or how are they handling people? So when someone tells me they got 10,000 people in a day or in 2 days, and I see how many people were working the show or whatever, I'm like, whatever, man. it's not possible. So, okay. So on the Redline jackpot, they had custom cars. They sold whole sets because so this is a custom Hot Wheel that they made. The guy made the card, and then there were like a chase card that you get. Notice it says 38 of 50. So I got one of the ones that there were only 50 of, and guy did a really good job on these cars. I don't know, doesn't really show, but it has a graphic on it, and we could get these. We could get our own ones for our. I don't have the Corvettes I bought because they're in the box with those sets coming back from Vegas. But these are really well done, and we may do something like this for an exclusive. I don't have really access to get like a custom action figure or whatever. And then I bought a few cars. I don't have them here, but this is one of the ones that I'm buying. It's a Super Chrome 74 Redline. They're kind of that. This one is hard to find. Again, just want to mention Kaz is going to be in set up at this Sunday's show. This is a piece from Kaz. Wasn't necessarily thrilled with the grade. I think this should be a higher grade, but it is what it is. But this is a piece that I have from that. I'm going to be submitting that Duke's card. And let's see, thoughts on show and tickets. Yeah, there was hotel stuff, and really, I mean, my opinion as just if you're just a buyer, then I didn't feel you needed a ticket actually, but you got. When you bought the ticket, you got the car, and then you got some other stuff, access to the room and this and that. So I don't know. Tickets were not cheap. I will tell you that. They were like $100 or $125 or something. But again, it's a niche. It's a niche market. Those red lines. So, but overall, very good. Very good. Okay. So let me, again, I think I already talked about schedule updates. And I went over the schedule, but over here, you'll notice that I moved Lakeland and Fort Myers. I added Fort Myers. I'm still working on a show for June. It's going to probably be an East Coast show of some kind. I'm looking at a couple locations, and then I'm going to be adding Ocala and Tallahassee here, hopefully by the end of the week. And then I did add Fort Myers here. Now, the reason why I pushed the Lakeland show out, which I don't have a specific date because I need to get with them, is that there's an anime show at the RP funding that would take like half our space because I'm not going to get the full space this time. I'm going to stick back with our 15,000 square feet. But Fort Myers is available. Fort Myers, I didn't really like being in September. So I'm going to try this end of July. I want July to be full because July is a really good month for attending shows until school starts. And this is the last weekend before school starts. Basically, I think the 10th or whatever is at Polk County anyway. And then, so Florida, Lakeland will be in September. I just have to talk to them. Let me go over a couple more. And then I have a bunch of stuff going on in the fall already. I just don't have room on this page. So let me go and yes, hey Ron, I just remembered yesterday I was supposed to call you back. I got busy after the show last week, so I will be calling you. And yes, like I said, they do offer, not when you ask, they offer a group rate. And then a lot of times I have to do like 10 rooms or something. And then sometimes I'm responsible for those rooms if people don't book them. So, and let's see, have a history with Sizzlers. Oh, hey, history with Sizzlers video on my channel. Okay. Do send me a link to that, okay, Jason, if you would. I'm interested in seeing that video. And Danny, how are you? Should check out into the Oviedo Mall. Yeah, I might look into that, but I'm not trying to really have a I am looking at Desertland for Super RetroCon, But I'm not trying to have like one of those mall hallway shows. Okay. I kind of I like the hotel aspect and this and that. I'll let somebody else do that. If I'm doing it in an empty store, then I could do that. But otherwise, that's kind of what my because Super RetroCon, and I'll get into that maybe at the end. I'm planning on doing 2 rooms, so it's like a big room with Super RetroCon in it main, and then I'm going to have a secondary room that's like a party room, which I'm calling Flynn's Arcade because I'm going to have my giant Flynn's neon sign, which I don't know if some of you guys have seen that or not. Okay, so I talked about schedule updates. I'm just kind of going over my notes here, guys. Pushing Lakeland, anime show, new venues I'm working on. Okay, so this weekend okay, let me talk about this weekend here in a second. Let me also add in, I wanted to talk about, so one of the things in Tampa, okay, we're gonna have Kaz in Tampa, okay. We're also gonna have Alpha Omega Brian Weeks. I've been talking to him for a couple months off and on, and I want to have CGC submission service. Now, every once in a while, not all the time, Percy comes out from the other and he does submissions mostly in South Florida, but I would like to have a regular thing, and I'm gonna just start and say I want to have them at least the Tampa 2-day shows, that we're gonna have a CGC submission service or some kind of witness that can do submissions of either comics, at least hopefully cards if you want, and so I think Alpha Omega can do that, and then so we will have Kaz on site that can do also witnessing for autographs. And then we will also have Alpha Omega on site for at least this next Tampa show. I don't have any guests right now for that show, but that doesn't mean that it's going to change, because there is going to be a decent amount of comics in Tampa this next time around. Okay, so I want to make sure I mentioned that. And let's see. Okay, so this coming weekend, again, Kaz will be in. So we are at Green Acres. For vendors that are on here, it's going to be a 6. It's going to be a 6 o'clock, 6:30. Sorry, 6:30 setup time, and I'll send out the times with a link to the location. Here in the next day or so, and then show is our standard time, which I've now pretty much standardized at 9 to 4, and with vendors start packing up at 3:30, and so we will be there in Lake Worth, and then we'll be there again on the second Sunday of October, which will be our next event there. Okay, and so that is the South Florida. Let me see, the last thing, let's see, to show you guys is I am still working on the magazine. Okay, now this is a mock-up from the producer. He took these pictures of me in the Corvette, and I mean, I like it, but I have told him a couple times that I don't want to be on the cover. I'm not promoting myself. I mean, this is a promotional engine for the shows, but I mean, he's done a great job. But I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I want to go back. I am going to let you know that on the break here that we have, I'm going to be working on the collector magazine. So if you want to be part of that, or you got some articles, or you got some events or whatever, I'm going to be working on that. And I'm going to hopefully have a printed copy by Tampa. I mean, that's kind of my goal. I don't know if it can happen because it's a lot of work. This thing is going to be like 50 pages or 48 pages with the cover, I think. And I do have an outline and all that. And then we're going to come up with the cover is going to be a show picture from a show. I'm going to probably have a little square down here for like a guest interview. We're going to feature a store. We're going to have, vendors. We're going to have featured show, all of that stuff. But this is great. And it is going to look similar to this, but it's, like the cover. Huh? I do like the cover. With me on it? Yeah. Okay. Well, the the helper who's helping me on this thinks I should be on the cover. I don't want to give people I don't want people to think that it's all about me. It's not. I'm trying to do something beyond myself. Okay. So I mean I will be in it, but I don't necessarily need to be on the cover, but it's cool.
You're famous. You get stopped at shows.
Famous Davis. Yeah.
People want to meet you. They want your autograph. They want photos with you. You're famous.
Yeah, okay. Anyway. Yeah, Tony, whose show will probably starting any minute, brought a Famous Davis stand up. I was like, man, what are you doing to me right now? All right, hey Chris, how you doing? We need to see more of Chris, man. What's going on? I'm coming to see you about some radio stuff. I'm waiting for the Mustang to get done. Oh, event rooms at the mall. Okay. All right. I think I thought this was going to be a lot longer than this, but I think I went over everything on here. And let me see if I've shared everything on here. Yep, okay. And so I think your autograph, yeah, on the receipt when I buy something at your store. Okay. All right. No, I'm probably so yeah, so I do want to say is this is our last show. Okay, this is our last show for over a month, okay? And that is because of basically I wasn't able to put together the hotel wasn't available for the MegaCon show. We were going to have like only 20 parking spaces. Then there is another show up north. I'm going to act like an Ohio person here. There's another show up north later in the month that's sucking a bunch of vendors that are going up there. And then I was going to have a Star Wars show at the end of March, but again, there's MegaCon and there's another show, and so I couldn't pull it off. And then the following weekend is Easter weekend, which I don't do holidays, so it's just a bad plan to do holidays. So and it's Easter weekend, so we're going to be in Tampa, or I'm sorry, we're going to be at Altamont right at the beginning of. So that gives me about a month to try to put together this magazine and try to get hate it when vendors get sucked. Wait a minute. Okay. Anyway, but so anyway, we will be back in April, and then the last thing is I am working on Super RetroCon for anybody that's interested. Desertland has gotten back to me about a November event, and I'm hoping that works out. And so I'm hoping to be able to announce something there on that here soon. So okay, so I will see you guys next Tuesday or this weekend. Come on down. We're at the American Polish Club. The people there are, it's easy to work with. We are doing our early bird pricing and everything, and that helps the parking lot. Okay. So you guys can get in and out. Huh? Yeah, Abe will be handling the food this weekend. So yeah, so there'll be great food, great prices. Come on down and check it out. All right, that's it for now, guys. I will see you soon. See you either this weekend or next week, or maybe I'll see you at a show sometime soon. Bye now. See you next Tuesday.